Jai Hind dosto, this is Ananya, your master teacher at Vedantu for Social Science. I hope you guys are taking very good care of yourself. So students, what are we going to do in this video? In this video, I'm going to continue with the chapter, the Union Legislature. And in this video, I'm going to teach you guys about the Rajya Sabha, the powers and functions of Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. And also we will be discussing about the relationship between the two houses of the parliament and also their differences. So all these things we are going to cover in this particular video. Okay. So guys, before we move ahead, last time I gave you some homework questions, three questions, easy, medium and tough. So let's see the answers for those questions. The very first question was with reference to the Speaker of Lok Sabha, consider the following statement. And let me tell you guys, it was neither first nor second. This was the right answer. And let me tell you guys, no student gave the right answer. कोई बात नहीं guys, it's absolutely fine. At least you guys tried. That is very, very important. Good. Second one, the term of the Speaker of Lok Sabha is 5 years. And the last one was budget session of the Parliament happens in between Feb and May. So class, these were the three questions which I asked you in the last session. But no problem, guys. Not everybody gave the right answer, but I really appreciate at least you guys tried, and I want you guys to try in the same way. Today also, I'm going to ask you few questions. This answer I want you to tell me in the comment section. Okay? So great. Without wasting much time, guys, let's get started. First of all, let's have a look on the topics which we did in the last session. Guys, last time we completed the parliamentary procedures. We saw about the sessions, the question hour, the quorum in sessions. We came to know that the president is responsible to summon the session, that is to start the session of Lok Sabha as well as the Rajya Sabha. Question hour is the very first hour from 11 a.m. to 12, wherein the member of parliament can ask questions from the concerned minister or the government. But member of parliament has to give 10 days of notice period. The third one was quorum. What is quorum? 1/10 of the members should be present to start the session. If the total strength of the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, let's take an example, if the total strength of Lok Sabha say it is 550. So what is the 1/10? It is 55. So minimum 55 members should be present to start the session of Lok Sabha. If 1/10 of the members are not present, then the session will not start. It will be adjourned for the day, or until and unless 1/10 of the members are not present. Next, we have got adjournment and propagation. Guys, adjournment and propagation means if the session for the day or for the sitting is ended or it is suspended for the day, it is known as adjournment. Last time I told you the reasons. And what is propagation? Guys, propagation means when the entire session gets terminated, that is propagation. Adjournment is done by the speaker and propagation is done by the president. Then interpellation. Guys, the mechanism of asking a question, like when my member of parliament asks the questions to the concerned minister or to the government, that mechanism is known as interpellation. Next one we have got is 0 hour. 0 hour is basically exactly after the question hour, which starts from 12 to 1 o'clock. And in this, the member of parliament can ask any type of questions which does not require any prior permission or any prior notice. And then we saw the speaker and his functions as well. We came to know about the elections of speaker. The speaker is elected from among its members by Lok Sabha. That is, guys, I am taking a recap. Okay, so the speaker is elected from among its members by Lok Sabha. So speaker is nothing but one of the member of parliament of Lok Sabha. Okay, what are the rules and functions of speaker? We saw first of all he regulates the proceeding of houses. Okay, so uh, he regulates the proceeding of house means the entire house is conducted. The session of Lok Sabha is conducted under the speaker of Lok Sabha. He certifies a bill as a money bill. So he is the one to decide if the bill is a money bill or an ordinary bill. Next, he maintains discipline in the house. So he is responsible to maintain the discipline and he is responsible that every member of parliament should follow the code of conduct. He puts the issues to vote and announces the result. So if there is any voting in the house, so he is the one who is going to conduct the voting, and he is going to declare the result of that particular voting. He does not vote in the house except when there is a tie. So if there is a tie during the voting time, so then only he can cast his vote. Okay. He presides over the joint sessions of the parliament. So sometimes the joint session of the parliament takes place like Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So in that case, speaker is responsible to conduct the entire session, the joint session of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Clear? Great, that's amazing, guys. So this is what we saw in the last session. I hope everything was clear. If yes, do not forget to hit the like button and also subscribe to our channel if you have not done so. Chalo, let's get started, guys. Today we are going to continue with Rajya Sabha. So let's understand about Rajya Sabha. It is very, very simple. This is the inside of Rajya Sabha. You can see the member of parliament of Rajya Sabha. You can see the chairman of Rajya Sabha over there, right? Let's have a look on Rajya Sabha. My dear students, Rajya Sabha is also known as upper house. So Lok Sabha is known as lower house, Rajya Sabha is known as upper house. So it is not like Rajya Sabha has got more power. No, practically, to be very frank, Lok Sabha is more powerful as compared to Rajya Sabha. You will come to know later in this session how we can say that Lok Sabha is more powerful than Rajya Sabha. It is just a name which is given to this. It is known as upper house, also known as Rajya Sabha, and also known as Council of States, because the member of parliament of Rajya Sabha represents their respective states. Okay. The maximum strength of Rajya Sabha cannot be more than 250 members. Okay, so the maximum strength of Rajya Sabha cannot be more than 250 members, in which it is also classified into further two types: nominated and elected. So some members are elected, some members are nominated. So let's see how many members are elected and how many members are nominated. First of all, we will understand the nominated. My dear students, out of 250 members, 12 members are nominated. Now, who is responsible to nominate? President appoints the person having special knowledge or practical experience in the field of literature. They can be from the field of science, art, social services, so on and so forth. So these 12 members can be from these fields. Okay, and these 12 members are elected by directly by the president. And the rest, how many people are remaining? 238. Now this is something very important I'm going to tell you, because, and by the way, I have already explained you the thing of how these 238 members are elected. Do you guys remember in my very first introductory video I explained you about how these members of Rajya Sabha are elected? Yes. So now I'm going to explain you that part once again. By the way, there are 238 members who are elected, means 12 members are nominated and 238 members are elected. Now, these 238 members are not like equal from all the states. So allocation of seats is unequal on the basis of their population. Means the state which have got more population, the number of member of parliament of Rajya Sabha will be more from that state as compared to the state which has got the least population. Like for example, from UP, Uttar Pradesh, 31 member of parliament of Rajya Sabha are elected. From Punjab only 7, and from Goa only 1. Why? It depends upon the population of that state, because Uttar Pradesh has got more population. It is highly populated. That is why the member of parliament of Rajya Sabha from Uttar Pradesh is more as compared to Punjab and Goa. Cool. I hope you guys are getting it. Make sure that you guys pause the video and note it down. It is very, very important. Now, guys, we will understand how these 238 members are actually elected, because we came to know that those 12 members are directly elected by the president. Now we will understand how these 238 members are elected. Guys, elected by the elected members of the Legislative Assembly. Now, these 238 members are elected by the members of Legislative Assembly. Guys, the members of Legislative Assemblies are known as MLA, Member of Legislative Assemblies. So we can say that these MLAs are directly elected by the people, and the representatives which we elect, these MLAs elect the Member of Parliament of Rajya Sabha. Are you understanding? MLAs are directly elected by the people, and these MLAs are responsible to elect the member of parliament of Rajya Sabha. So we can say that elections in Rajya Sabha goes indirectly. Cool. Now, how they are elected? There is a mechanism, there is a process. Let's understand that process. System of proportional representation by the means of single transferable vote. Single transferable vote. Now, what is this STV? We will understand this thing in detail. Now, guys, these member of legislative these MLAs are supposed to elect the member of parliament of Rajya Sabha. Now, how these MLAs will elect these member of parliament of Rajya Sabha? Let's say there are 100 MLAs. Okay, just for the sake of convenience, I am taking this number. Let's say there are 100 MLAs. Okay, and there are three candidates: candidate A, candidate B, and candidate C. Okay, there are three candidates who are standing for elections for the member of parliament of Rajya Sabha. Now, what will happen? These MLAs will give their preference, will give their choice. Okay, like let's take an example. I am one of the MLA out of these 100 MLAs. I will give my choice. Let's say my first preference will be candidate B, my second preference will be candidate A, and my third preference will be candidate C. Are you getting it? So all the 100 MLAs will give their preference. Now, let's say candidate B was the first preference of 45 MLAs. Candidate A was the first preference of, let's say, 35 MLAs. And candidate C was the first preference of remaining 20 MLAs. So, which candidate was the first preference of maximum MLAs? Candidate B. So, can you say he will be elected as the member of parliament of Rajya Sabha? No. Now understand what is the twist. STV, single transferable vote. Now, what single transferable vote says that candidate C is out of the league. He is out of the election because he was the least preferred candidate. He was like only 20 MLAs have their first preference as candidate C. Now, what will happen? These 20 votes will be not transferred to candidate A or candidate B. How? These 20 MLAs who gave their first choice as candidate C, now their second choice will be considered. Let's say their second choice was candidate A. So these 20 votes will be transferred to candidate A, and this is our 35 plus 20 will give us to 55. And this is how the votes are transferred from candidate C from to candidate A. This is known as single transferable vote. The students who have already watched my video, that introductory video, you guys have already understood that part there only, but still, I hope you guys are able to understand what I'm trying to say. This is how the elections takes place. Make sure that you pause the video, rewind it once again, and watch the video, watch this particular concept once again if you guys are not able to understand. Okay, or else you can let me know in the comment section. Great. Next, let's understand the term of Rajya Sabha. First of all, guys, a very important point we need to keep in mind, it is a permanent house. Unlike Lok Sabha, which dissolves completely after 5 years, Rajya Sabha doesn't dissolve completely after 5 years. The members of Rajya Sabha are elected for a term of 6 years. The members of Lok Sabha elected for a tenure of 5 years. Now, why we say this house as a permanent house? Because after, like, there are, let's take an example, there are 250 members. Okay, the maximum strength of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha is 250 members. So all the 250 members do not complete their tenure on the same date. Are you understanding? After every 2 years, one third of the members they complete their 6 years. So let's say what will be the one third of 250? It will be like 83 or 84. Okay, so let's say 84. So 84 members of Rajya Sabha will complete their 6 year in every 2 years. And when these members are like retired, a new 83, 84 members will come to replace these members. Are you understanding? So this is how in every 2 years, one third of the members get retired. So this house do not dissolve completely. So okay, this is one of the feature we can remember about Rajya Sabha. I'm sure you guys are able to understand. Now, what are the qualifications for the membership? So if you want to be a member of Rajya Sabha, what are the qualifications? Let's understand the qualifications. The minimum age to get qualified to be a member of Rajya Sabha is 30 years. For Lok Sabha it is 25 and for Rajya Sabha it is 30 years. The candidate should be the citizen of India. The candidate who is standing for elections should not hold any office of profit. Means the candidate should not be a part of any other government institute at central or at state level wherein from where he is getting some profit or he is getting some salary. Okay, he should not be of an unsound mind. In simple words, unsound mind means he should not be careless or he should not be irresponsible, because it's a very big position, right? So these are the qualification. These simple things are the qualification for the membership of Rajya Sabha. Cool. All right. Shall we move now? Guys, if we talk about the presiding officer, the presiding officer of Rajya Sabha, like in Lok Sabha, we have got speaker. Here we have got chairman. Now, who is the chairman of Rajya Sabha? Who is the presiding officer of Rajya Sabha? Who conducts the entire session of Rajya Sabha? Okay, he is the vice president. Means the vice president of India is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. I want you guys to tell me in the comment section who is the vice president and the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Clear? This is going to be one of your question other than the homework questions which I am going to give you at the end of the session. Okay. He also only cast vote in the case of tie. So if there is a voting which is going on in Rajya Sabha, so in that particular case, if there is a tie between two parties, then the chairman will come forward and cast his or her vote. Clear? I hope, my dear students, you guys are able to understand everything. If yes, do let me know in the comment section. And now, guys, before we move ahead with the next topic, which is very important, let me tell you guys a very important thing. Class, Vedantu is a very first organization who will give you the promise, that is Vedantu Improvement Promise, guys. Now, what is this promise all about? No online institute or no offline institute will give you the promise which we are giving you. What is that promise? Before I tell you, let me tell you about our features, why you should enroll to our sessions. I know class you are able to understand everything, but still it may be like you may come across some doubts. You want, like, there are lots and lots of benefits, guys, why you should enroll to Vedantu, why you should take the subscription of Vedantu. Let me tell you the reasons. First of all, here you will find unlimited live classes. Again, I'm not talking about recorded, I'm talking about unlimited live classes with all the fun and high level quizzes. And guys, while doing so, you actually compete with the students from across the world. Do you know how? Because in Vedantu, students are not only there from India, but they are from the different parts of the world as well. So your competition increases. Next, you can also watch replays, and these are going to be interactive replays. Now, class, it can happen like someday you miss the session due to any damn reason. It can be due to like some family functions or family emergency or due to poor connectivity. If you miss out the session, in that case, you can watch the replays, and those are going to be interactive. Interactive replays means you actually participate in the quizzes. You can find your name in the leaderboard. Yes, so it is equivalent like a live session. You can also download the handwritten notes of all our master teachers. So that is one of the benefit which is given to you. So the problem of notes is also solved, right? Not only this, guys, there are lots and lots of things you will get, like doubt solving during the sessions. Are you guys able to ask me doubts over here? Yes or no? No, but over there you guys can ask me doubts. Continuously tests are taken, assignments are given to you. Wait, not only this, you have an access to all the micro courses and crash courses which is going to be absolutely free for you. The students who actually pay for these micro courses and crash courses, it will be free for you. What else you need? So basically, you are paying very less and you are getting more and more number of classes. Very simple, guys. How to enroll to these sessions? The link is there in the description box and it is also pinned in the comment section. You can, guys, you can also apply my coupon code as ADPRO to get extra discount. Guys, there are more benefits also. Let me tell you guys about the other benefits which we have and what is Vedantu Promise Improvement Promise Plan. That is what I will tell you. First of all, whatever benefits I said you now, all those benefits are available in Pro Lite subscription, which is at 30,499, and you can also try this for 1 month, which is just at 2,600. Now, if you apply my coupon code as ADPRO, the price will come down. Yes. Now, if you want that your doubts should be solved after the session, हो सकता है ना, like after the session also you may come across any doubts or any query. In that case, you will get an access to doubts app so that you can ask the doubts after the session also. But for that, you need to enroll to our Pro Classic subscription, which is at just 30,999. Again, you can try this for 1 month. Okay, you can take an experience of all the services which are given by Vedantu. Okay, so for 1 month it is at 3,300. Again, you can apply my coupon code as ADPRO. The price will come down. Now, guys, we also give personal mentor. Who is personal mentor? A person who will be there with you throughout the year to solve all your academic related issues. He will help you with the assignments, will guide you related to every academic things. In that case, you can take our Pro Plus subscription, which is at just 55,999. Again, you can try this for 1 month. And if you apply my coupon code as AD Pro, the price will come down. Amazing, right? Now, class, once you try it for a month, you cannot take the plan again for a month. Then in that case, you have to apply for the entire year. You have to take the long-term sessions. But yes, one thing I can give you is like EMI option. Great. Now, what is VIP? Before I tell you about Vedantu Improvement Plan, basically, guys, if you take our long-term batches, the price is actually zero. It comes down to zero. Now you will be like, sir, how it is zero? We are paying. Yes, you are paying, but you are getting unlimited micro courses, absolutely free of cost. So when it is unlimited, it is zero. Yes, you have heard it right. Now let me tell you guys that thing which no offline institute, no online institute will promise you. What is that promise? If you feel that there has been no progress, if you feel that there has been no progress, we will return your fees. Yes, you have heard it right. We will return your fees. Are you going to get this in any of the online or offline institute? No. Vedantu is the first organization who is giving you this opportunity. We just need a very small commitment from your end. What is that commitment? A mandatory of 75% attendance for the student. So minimum 75% attendance should be there, and a minimum of 75% completion of the assigned test. So whatever tests are assigned to you, if you guys are able to attend or complete 75% of the assignments, then we are giving you this promise. So if still you believe that there has been no progress, you will get your fees back. No questions asked. That is a promise we are giving you. Amazing thing, right? So hurry up, guys. Go there and enroll to our sessions because our batches are starting soon. Just pause the video, look at your grade and look at in which standard you are, and accordingly you guys can enroll to our sessions. Great, isn't it great? Now, guys, now we will move ahead with the powers and functions of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Now I'm going to discuss with you about the powers and functions of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Everything we will be dealing in detail. Guys, these are the powers and functions of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Legislative powers, financial power, judicial power, electoral functions, amendment of constitution, control over executive, and there are other powers like exclusive powers of Rajya Sabha, exclusive powers of Lok Sabha. Everything I'm going to explain you in detail. Let's get started with the very first power and function of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha is legislative power. Now, what are legislative power? Guys, first of all, Parliament can make decisions or they can make laws on the subjects which are included in Union List. Now, guys, any subject which is included in Union List, for example, defense. Okay, defense is a subject which is included in Union List. So the Parliament has a responsibility to make laws on the matters included in Union List. Yes, because the subjects which are included in Union List are of national importance and it should be common throughout the country, be it defense, be it foreign affairs, or be it the national currency. All these things should be common and these are national importance things. These should be common throughout the countries. So the Parliament has a responsibility to make laws on the Union List, on the subjects which are included in Union List. Defense is one such example. Second, Parliament has a responsibility or the power to make laws on the subjects which are included in concurrent list. Now, what are concurrent lists? Guys, concurrent list is basically the subjects like education. Let's say education. Education is one of the subject which is included in concurrent list. So here Parliament as well as the state legislative together they can make laws on the concurrent list. But sometimes what happens, let's say sometimes Parliament, that is Parliament and state legislative cannot come on a common ground to take a common decision. So in that particular case, the will of the Parliament prevails. So Parliament is much more powerful as compared to the state legislative, obviously. Okay. Third, Parliament can also make laws on residuary powers, means the subjects which are included in the residuary list. Now, what is residuary powers? The subjects which are not included in union, state, or not even in concurrent list. All those subjects will be included in residuary subjects. For example, we can take an example of computer technology. Okay, this is just an example. So the matter on this subject is actually the laws on such subjects are made by the parliament. Matters in the state list. Now you will be like, sir, now like laws are all the laws are made by the parliament. So what is the power of the state government? Guys, they can also legislate laws on state list, the subjects which are included in state list. For example, state police. Okay, we can take the example of irrigation, agriculture of the state. Now you will be like, sir, all the matters, the laws, all the laws are made by the union government or the parliament. So what power state government has? Now listen to me very carefully. Parliament has also the right to frame laws on the subjects which are included in state list, and this power is given to Rajya Sabha. How? Sometimes what happens, ki 2 to 3 states come together and they request the parliament, they request the Rajya Sabha to make laws on the subjects which are included in state list. Then only Rajya Sabha can come forward and they can legislate laws on the subjects which are included in state list. But now you will have a question. If 2 or 3 different states came together, they are requesting the Rajya Sabha to legislate the laws which are included in state list. So are they going to be applicable on all the states? No. If let's take an example, Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Madhya Pradesh came together and they requested Rajya Sabha to frame laws on the state police of these 3 states. So Rajya Sabha will legislate the laws on the subjects which are included in state, that is in police, state police, but only for Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Madhya Pradesh because they requested to do so. Okay, so this is what you guys are supposed to remember. Now, guys, Parliament has the power to pass an ordinance. Now, parliament means here I'm giving an example of president. Guys, president has the power to pass an ordinance. Ordinance means law. Now, guys, law can be passed only when parliament is in the session. But sometimes what happens, it becomes sometimes due to some emergency situation, it becomes urgent to pass a law without parliament being into the session. So in that particular case, president gets the right to pass the law, to pass an ordinance. Yes, when the parliament is not in session. Next, they have the power during the emergency. Now, what is emergency, guys? Sometimes what happens, national emergency takes place, sometimes state emergency takes place. It can be due to external war, or it can be due to some violent revolt uh, done by the people of a particular state. So what happens in that particular case, the parliament comes into the picture and they will control the state. Means what happens if in a particular region or if in a particular state there has been a situation which cannot be controlled by the state government. So emergency situation or emergency is applied in that particular state. What do we understand from this? Like the central government will now control the matters of the state government until and unless the situation calms down or it normalizes. So they have the power during emergency. So these are legislative powers which they have. Amazing, right? So they are very, very powerful. Next on the list, I want you guys to pause the video and make sure that you guys are noting all these points. Coming to the next one, guys, they have got some financial powers also related to money, like the passing of the union budget. Obviously, so the passing of the union budget is not there with any of the state, it is given to the union government. Second, supplementary grants. Now, what are supplementary grants? Sometimes the budget which is decided is not sufficient. If the executive thinks that, or if the government thinks that the budget which is decided or which is approved is not sufficient, then the executive can request for some more money. That is known as supplementary grants. Let's say if the budget is decided as 500 crore, okay, for one financial year. It is very less, by the way. Let's take an example, 500 crore for one financial year, and the executive says that no, we require nearly 650 crore. So in that case, they can pass this resolution, and the executive may get or they may get whatever they are expecting. Okay, so that is supplementary grants. Vote on account. Now, what is vote on account? Plus, sometimes what happens, if the union budget is not passed on the date from where the financial year will start. Do you know when the financial year starts? 1st of April. If till 1st of April the budget is not passed, so executive will have no money to spend. I hope you're understanding. So in that particular case, executive can draw the money or they can take the money from consolidated funds. Now, what do we understand from consolidated funds? Consolidated funds is basically the bank of the government. Government का bank होता है. It is a bank of the government from where they can withdraw the money. In consolidated funds, you will find the funds which comes from taxes, the taxes which are taken by the government, right? So those money or that money is basically added in the consolidated funds. So if the budget is not passed on the first date till the first date of the financial year, which starts from 1st of April, so in that particular case, the executive can draw or withdraw the money from consolidated funds. So that is vote on account. Thus, I hope you guys are able to understand everything. Yes. Next, salaries. So salaries of member of parliament, salaries of the ministers is decided by the parliament. Yes. Permission for taxes. Plus, money bill can only be introduced in Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha may suggest some changes. If there are two types of bill, money bill and ordinary bill, money bill can only be introduced in Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha can just suggest some changes and they are given like 14 days to do so. Okay, if within 14 days they have to return back the bill. They can suggest changes. It's up to Lok Sabha if they want to accept or reject the changes. Yes. So here we can say Lok Sabha is much more powerful. Guys, the next one which we are going to discuss is about the judicial powers they have. Now, in judicial power, what we are supposed to remember, like, first of all, they can remove the president from his position. Yes, parliament has the power to remove the president from his position. Why the president should be removed or on what grounds the president should be removed? Let's say if president is violating the code of conduct, or if he or she is violating the Constitution of India. So in that case, president can be removed from his position. How? Guys, motion is passed, like two-third of the, if two-third of the majority of either of the house, be it Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, passes a resolution of its effect, like removal of president from his position. So in that particular case, what happens? The other house will also investigate in the matter. So when the other house will investigate in that particular matter, and they are also they also accept the same thing. If Lok Sabha has passed two-third of the majority, that they want to remove the president from its position. So Rajya Sabha will look into this matter, and if Rajya Sabha will also give its approval, then in that case, president have to leave his position, has to leave his position. So that is impeachment of president. Next, judges can be removed. So judges of Supreme Court, judges of High Court can also be removed. Yes, in fact, this one, the chief election commissioner can also be removed by the parliament. Punishment for obstructing the work of parliament. So class, what happens sometimes during the session, like there are various galleries, like visitors gallery, then media gallery, VIP galleries, there are various galleries. Okay, so in that particular case, if someone is trying to obstruct the work of the parliament, if he or she is trying to break the code of conduct or break the peace of the parliament, so in that case the parliament has the right to punish that person. So these are some judicial powers which they have. Next one, electoral functions. The Parliament of India, along with the state legislature, elects the President of India. Yes. So the Parliament of India, along with the state legislature, they will elect the President of India. Second, the Vice President of India is elected by both the houses of the Parliament. And Vice President is also the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Yes. The Lok Sabha elects its own speaker and deputy speaker from among its own members. So the speaker and the deputy speaker of Lok Sabha is basically from among the members of parliament of Lok Sabha. On the other hand, while the Rajya Sabha elects its deputy chairman. Why not the chairman? Because the vice president is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Cool. So these are some electoral functions they have. Make sure guys you pause the video and note it down. Next, amendment of constitution. Now, what is amendment? To make changes. Okay? To change the constitution, that is known as amendment of the constitution. They have the power to amend the constitution also. Like, both the houses of parliament can amend the constitution. But can we say Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha both have got equal powers? No. Let's understand. So, both the houses, be it Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha of parliament, can amend the constitution. They can change the constitution. The amendment must be passed by each house by a majority of the total membership, by a two-third majority of the members present and voting. So guys, majority of the member of parliament of both the houses should give its consent, give its approval. They should be present during the voting of amending the constitution. If they want to change anything in the constitution, two-third of its members should be present. Otherwise, the amendment bill cannot be passed. If this criteria is not met, then the bill will not pass. Guys, what I said you about a bill, bill is a proposed law. It is not a law, it is a proposed law. When it becomes a law, when it becomes an act, when it is passed. Okay. In some cases, the amendment requires the ratification or approval of half of the legislative assemblies of the state. So in some of the cases also only half of the legislative approve, it needs only the approval of half of the members of the legislative assemblies of states. So this is about the change in constitution, amendment of the constitution. This is Constitution of India. In Hindi we call it as Samvidhan. Samvidhan. Constitution is basically a rule book. Now, next one, we have got control over the executive. First one, we have got interpellation. Do you remember the question hour, the very first hour between 11 a.m. to 12? Yes. So that is known as question hour, wherein the member of parliament has the right to ask question to the concerned minister or the government. Okay, but for that, the member of parliament has to give 10 days of notice period. Next, vote of no confidence. I already explained you many times what is no vote of no confidence. If the vote of no confidence is passed against the current government or against the ruling government, then in that case, the prime minister, including the entire cabinet ministry, has to resign from its position. So that is the vote of no confidence they have. So this is the control over the executive parliament have. Next, adjournment motion. The matters of urgent importance has to be discussed. So let's take an example. In every day of the session, some matters are discussed. But sometimes what happens, some urgent matters comes into the picture. Like in the last session, I gave you the example of some railway accident or some natural calamity took place. I hope you're understanding. In that case, rest of the matters are set aside and matters of urgent importance are discussed. So that is adjournment motion. Other motion of censure. Guys, what is the meaning of other motions of censure? Censure means like condemning the situation, showing complete disapproval against something. Means, let's take an example. If some private bill is passed by a member of parliament which is against the government, which is against the will of the parliament, which is against the will of the government, so in that case the parliament will show complete disapproval. They will condemn the situation. And obviously parliament has the monetary control, means executive is responsible to spend the money, but they cannot spend money anywhere they want. Are you understanding? So parliament will control where the executive is spending the money. So it should not be against the wishes of the parliament. Yes, so executive is responsible to spend the money according to the budget, but again it should not be against the wishes of the parliament. Yes, so they have the control over the money matters as well. So these are controls over the executive. I'm sure, guys, you are able to understand everything. Yes, cool. What are some other powers they have? Like the parliament may alter the name or boundary of the state if needed. So they can change the name of the boundary or they can even change the borders of the state if needed. It can also form a new state by merging the territories of existing states. Like if you remember Union Territory, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu. Now they are a single union territory. So they can also form a new state by merging the territories of existing states or by separating a part of the territory from a state. So in 2014, when Andhra Pradesh was divided into one more state and one state came into existence was Telangana. So Andhra Pradesh was divided and Telangana came into being. So, so they have the power separating a part of a territory from a state. These are the powers which they have. Yes. Next. I hope class you are able to understand the examples which I am giving you. Great. If you have some more examples, please let me know in the comment section. It makes law regarding the composition, jurisdiction, and the power of the Supreme Court. So, how many judges will be there in Supreme Court? How many judges will be there in High Court? It is also decided by the Parliament. They have the power to decide how many judges will be there in Supreme Court. They can reduce, they can increase the number of judges. Yes. The Parliament may establish a common High Court for two or more states. Now, I want you to tell me in the comment section which states in India have a common high court? And the answer is very simple. I want you to tell me in the comment section. By the way, guys, this is not the homework question. Homework questions will come at the end of the session. But if you guys are able to answer such kind of questions as well, do let me know in the comment section. Great. So the parliament may establish a common high court for two or more states. Yes. Now, what are the exclusive powers of Lok Sabha? Okay, literally exclusive powers of Lok Sabha. First of all, we will understand this point by point. First, motion of no confidence against the government can only be introduced and passed in Lok Sabha. Do you remember already I explained you 2 to 3 times about one of the exclusive power they have in Lok Sabha, like motion of no confidence. So guys, motion of no confidence can only be passed in Lok Sabha. Means if this motion passes, then the government, that is the Prime Minister as well as the entire cabinet ministry, has to resign from its position. It can be only introduced and passed in Lok Sabha. This is one of the special power they have. Do you know why? Because the members of Lok Sabha are elected by the people. Okay, so those members are directly elected by the people. That is why those members have the right to pass the motion of no confidence. That they have no confidence over the government. They are not going to support the government anymore. And in that case, if this motion passes in the parliament, then Prime Minister has to resign from its position. Yes. Second, money bill can only be introduced in Lok Sabha. Already I explained you about this in the previous, like in today's video only I explained you about this. Like money bill can only be introduced in Lok Sabha. Plus Rajya Sabha may suggest some changes. They cannot amend the bill. I hope you are understanding. So the money bill, which is a proposed bill by the Lok Sabha, it can only be introduced in Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha will have 14 days. They have to return the bill back to Lok Sabha with some suggested changes. It's up to Lok Sabha to accept or reject those changes. Now, in the case of a deadlock between the two houses over a non-financial, that is the ordinary bill, the will of the Lok Sabha normally prevails. Means sometimes what happens if the bill is not a money bill, so Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha will both come to a conclusion to take decisions or to legislate on such kind of bills. But if they are not able to come on a common ground, then in that case, whatever the will of the Lok Sabha will be, that will be final. Why? Because the number of members in Lok Sabha is more. The maximum strength of Lok Sabha is 550 and the maximum strength of Rajya Sabha is 250. Clear? So as the number of members in Lok Sabha are more, that is why their will prevails. Now we will understand some exclusive parts of Rajya Sabha. Class, make sure that you guys pause the video and note it down. Do not take the screenshot. Note each and every point. Clear? The next one which we are going to discuss is the exclusive parts of Rajya Sabha. Under the Article 249, the Rajya Sabha may, by resolution adopt by two-third majority, empower the parliament should make laws with respect to the matters in the state list. Do you remember I said you earlier in this session that Rajya Sabha has got a power to legislate laws on the subjects which are included in state list also. How? Sometimes what happens, subject which is included in state list, let's say education, assumes a national importance, means they are like now it has got a national importance and Rajya Sabha should take up the power or responsibility to legislate laws on those subjects. So in that case, if two-thirds of the members of the total strength of Rajya Sabha passes a resolution, then the subject which is included in state list, Rajya Sabha will get the power to legislate laws on the subject which is included in state list. This is an exclusive power of a Rajya Sabha. By the way, state government is responsible to legislate laws on the subjects which are included in state list. But if such situation takes place under the Article 249, then Rajya Sabha will get the power to legislate the subjects which are included in state list. Next, it may declare that the creation of a new All India services. Now they can also declare All India services like IAS, IPS, IFS, such kind of new All India services can be added by Rajya Sabha. Do you remember, if you guys are watching my videos, in my very first session of introductory video, I already explained you this, right? Next, in the Lok Sabha, if the Lok Sabha dissolves before or after the declaration of National Assembly, national emergency, simple. Sometimes what happens, if the Lok Sabha may get dissolved because Rajya Sabha cannot dissolve completely. If Lok Sabha dissolves due to any reason, then Rajya Sabha takes up the entire control. Simple as that. Rajya Sabha takes over the functions of the parliament. It cannot be dissolved. Okay, we have discussed this many a times. So these are some exclusive parts of Rajya Sabha. Yes. Class, I hope you are able to understand everything. Okay, if you have any queries, class, it's a request. Please let me know in the comment section so that I can help you with all your queries in the next session. Clear? Now, coming to the next one, the last part, relationship between both the houses of parliament. We will be understanding the differences also. First of all, difference over legislative matters. Ordinary bill. Ordinary bill may originate in either of the house. So ordinary bill can be introduced in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha as well. But already I explained you, it is basically the Lok Sabha whose will prevails because the number of members in Lok Sabha are more as compared to Rajya Sabha. If there is a disagreement between the two houses, the bill is referred to a joint sitting of both the houses. If there is an ordinary bill and if there is a disagreement, if both the parties, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, both the houses are unable to arrive on a common decision, then in that case there is going to be a joint sitting of both the houses. And who leads the joint sitting of both the houses? Speaker of Lok Sabha. Yes. In such cases, both the houses are placed on an equal footing. However, the Rajya Sabha is in a weaker position, is in a lower rank, since the total membership of Rajya Sabha is less than even the half of the total strength of Lok Sabha. Do you remember I said you the maximum membership of Rajya Sabha is 250 members and of Lok Sabha can be 550 members. So the will of the members of Lok Sabha will prevail. Besides, the joint session is presided over by the Speaker of Lok Sabha. So what can we say? Can we say Lok Sabha is much more powerful? Yes? Yes. Next one. Differences over the legislative matters. Money bill. This is what we are already aware. In case of money bill, the Rajya Sabha has virtually no power. It cannot reject or it cannot reject a money bill or nor amend it by virtue of its own power. In simple sense, guys, the money bill can be introduced in Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha may suggest changes to the Lok Sabha, but Rajya Sabha cannot amend the bill. They can just suggest the changes. It's up to Lok Sabha to accept or reject those changes. Simple as that. Here, already discussed previously in this session. Control over the executive. Members of both the houses can put questions to ministers about the work of their departments. Obviously, guys, it's like member of Lok Sabha as well as the member of Rajya Sabha can put questions to the ministers about the work of their departments. But the Lok Sabha is more powerful than Rajya Sabha. Again, do you remember at the start of the session, I said you guys that Lok Sabha is much more powerful as compared to Rajya Sabha. These are the reasons which we are discussing. The Council of Ministers is responsible only to Lok Sabha. So all the Council of Ministers are only responsible to Lok Sabha. So again, we can say that Lok Sabha is much more powerful. Rajya Sabha cannot pass a motion expressing no confidence in the Council of Ministers. Do you know why? Because the members of Rajya Sabha are indirectly elected by the people. So they cannot pass a motion of no confidence. The motion of no confidence can only be passed by the members of Lok Sabha because the member of Parliament of Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people. And the member of Parliament of Rajya Sabha are indirectly elected by the people. So they cannot express their no confidence for the Council of Ministers. Adjournment motion indicating a strong disapproval of the policy of government is moved only in Lok Sabha. Do you remember like indicating a strong disapproval, a motion of censure, then adjournment motion means like matters of urgent importance can only be moved in Lok Sabha. It cannot be moved in Rajya Sabha. Again, let me conclude this entire slide. Lok Sabha is more powerful as compared to Rajya Sabha. That's it. Election of the vice president and the election of the president and the vice president. Every elected member of the parliament stands on equal footing in the election of the president and the vice president of India. Okay. So every elected member of parliament, be it the member of Lok Sabha or be it the member of Rajya Sabha, they have got the equal right to elect the president and the vice president of India. However, again, Lok Sabha has a greater say on such matters because you know the reason, the strength of its members, the strength of its number is more. So the member of Lok Sabha or Lok Sabha has as a house has got a more say as compared to Rajya Sabha. Impeachment. Do you remember removal of president, removal of the judges of Supreme Court, High Court, and the Chief Justice about the Election Commission of India? It can be done by the Lok Sabha. In matters of impeachment of President of India or the Chief Justice or the judges of the Supreme Court or of the High Court, both houses have absolutely equal power. Impeachment can be initiated in either house and the other house has an equal say in the judgment. Okay, so basically, sorry, you have to remember that in the impeachment process of be it the President of India or the Chief Justice or the judges of the Supreme Court and High Court, both have got the equal power. Okay, this is what you guys are supposed to remember. Here they have got an equal power. Emergency provision. In case of a proclamation of, proclaim means to declare. In case of proclamation of a national emergency, and if the Lok Sabha is dissolved, the responsibility and the power is given to the Rajya Sabha, because Rajya Sabha cannot be dissolved completely. Yes. So class, this was all about in this entire session. Let's have a quick recap on the topics which we did in this session. Then I'll give you the homework questions. Okay. Make sure that you guys are giving me the correct answer in the comment section so that I can display the names of all the correct students in my next session. Okay. Clear. Rajya Sabha. Term, the Rajya Sabha is a permanent body. It cannot be dissolved. The term of the office for its member is 6 years. One third of its members retire after every second year. Do you remember? Like after every second year, one third of the member, nearly 83, 84 members of Rajya Sabha, they complete their tenure of 6 years and they are replaced by the new members. Overall, the composition is 250 members, out of which 12 are nominated by the president and 238 are elected by the state legislative, MLAs. Election. Okay, so as I told you, by the single transferable vote, those 238 members are elected. Okay, so MLAs are supposed to give their preference, candidate 1, 2, 3. So this is how the things goes on. Qualification to be a member of Rajya Sabha: candidate should be a citizen of India, minimum age should be 30 years, he should not hold any office of profit, means he should not be part of any other government institute from where he is getting any profit or he is getting any salary. Ordinarily, a resident of a state from which he is contesting. So the member of Rajya Sabha should be basically the state from which he is contesting the election, he should be a resident of that state. Okay, we are just taking a quick recap. What are the special powers of Rajya Sabha? The Rajya Sabha can declare any subject in the state list as a subject of national interest. So basically, the Rajya Sabha can legislate on the matters of the state list as well, on the subjects which are included in state list. It has the power to set up a new All India service. They can add a new All India service like IAS, IPS, IFS, so on and so forth. It is a permanent house. It cannot be dissolved, unlike Lok Sabha. What are the powers and functions of Parliament? It enacts laws for good governments or good governance of a country. So it makes laws wherein the country should be administered properly. Parliament can pass a vote of no confidence and thus dismiss the government in the power. But it is only introduced in Lok Sabha. Parliament controls the finances of the union. So they make the union budget. The member of parliament can seek information by asking questions and supplementaries. Supplementaries means here member of parliament, yeah, here member of parliament can ask questions from the minister and from the government. Okay, and also can also ask follow-up questions. A member of parliament can move adjournment motions and thus criticize the government. So these are the powers and functions of the parliament which we already discussed in detail in this particular session. Then we saw the relationship between the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Like the Lok Sabha has more power than the Rajya Sabha on account of its greater numerical strength. As we came to know that in most of the cases, Lok Sabha is more powerful because the number of members in Lok Sabha are more as compared to Rajya Sabha. Ordinary bill can originate in either of the house, be it Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, whereas money bill can only be introduced in Lok Sabha. The Rajya Sabha cannot reject or they cannot amend the money bill. Do you remember that? Yes. So Rajya Sabha can suggest changes but it's up to Lok Sabha to accept or reject those changes. So guys, this is what we saw all in this entire session. I hope it was a very informative session for you guys. If yes, do let me know in the comment section. And yes, coming to the homework questions, make sure that you guys are giving the fastest answer in the comment section, but it should be right. Okay. So the first question, what is the term of Rajya Sabha? 5 years, 6 years, 2 years, or is it none of the above? What is the term of Rajya Sabha? Very simple. Next, money bill can be introduced by whom? अभी अभी डिस्कस किया था. Money bill can be introduced by whom? Only Rajya Sabha, only Lok Sabha, both the houses, or is it the Prime Minister? So money bill can be introduced by which house? Next, the last one. 12 members are nominated in Rajya Sabha by the President of India. Is the statement true or is it false? So these three are very simple questions, guys. Make sure that you guys are letting me know the answers for these questions in the comment section. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Till then, take very good care of yourself. Thank you so much, guys, for attending the session. And that's it for the day. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care.